Hello everyone. In this video, we will be talking about how to use Trello. So you can use Trello in order to create a workflow or multiple workflows within a business. This way, you and your team can execute a lot of different processes within a business a lot smoother and more efficiently as well. Trello is a project management software that can help you save a lot of time and effort when it comes to managing and getting workflows done. So, the very first step that we need to do is to go to Trello.com and then create an account by providing our email address. Once that is done, you will be taken to the home page of the software. So as you can see, here we have a panel on the left hand side where we can access our boards, templates. In addition to that, we can create teams if we want. And then we have templates that we can use for the Trello boards that we are going to create. And then we have the recently viewed boards over here. And then any boards that come under the themes that I have created will be listed down in here. So a Trello board is essentially what we are going to be using within Trello to organize our workflow. In this video, I will use an example Trello board named video creation. But according to the context of your business or purpose, you can create a board by any name and you can have any number of boards as you like as well. So let's create a new board by the name video creation. So when I want to create a board, I can add a theme if I want to list the board down under that particular theme. So I have created a theme over here. If I want to add another theme, I can add another theme by giving it a name and then a theme type, and then I can give it a description as well. And thereafter I can create a board. So I will go ahead and create a new board. I'll add the title video creation and I can give a theme that I like. So I'll choose this and then I can change the theme visibility as well from private to public. Here I have given the visibility only to the members of the team. And then I will create the board. I can either use one of the templates that Trello provides me rather than creating my own board. I can do that as well. So this is my initial Trello board. So over here you see that I have the name here. If I want to change the name, I can just click. And then the theme that it's listed under is here, and then the theme visibility can be changed if I wanted. And then if I want to invite more people to my board, I can do it by clicking this and providing the email address of the person whom I want to invite to this board. And then as you can see, it says here add a list. So lists are essentially going to be different sections on the board. The overall board is going to be consisting of different categories. So the basic thing that we can do with a list is we could have tasks to do, and then we could put tasks in progress and then tasks completed. So essentially in general there could be 3 lists for the to-do tasks and the in progress tasks and the completed ones. What you put into these different lists are going to be different processes in different steps of the workflow you're trying to create. And then once we are done with the creation of the board and then the list, we can go into more detail and add something called cards. So we have the main board, which is the overall workflow we are trying to set up. And then we have lists, which is like the individual steps within that particular workflow. And then we have cards, which is going to be the smallest micro perspective from all of this, which is where we can put individual things. So in this case, we could put tasks to do as cards in the particular list which is allocated to them. So let's go ahead and create a list. Let's create the list by the name tasks to do. So then we can add cards. Let's say my individual tasks are, I had to come up with an idea, and then I could say that I have to create a video, and then I need to create a thumbnail. Okay, and thereafter, I can go ahead and create checklists for these different cards as well. So this is how a board looks like in general. So when we go to our home page, as we discussed before, we can see all the boards and the themes that I have created. If you wanted to choose a template for our board, then we can do so by clicking on one of these templates. That makes our lives easy. Then if we want to invite a member to our team, then we can go to members and invite a member to the team as well. In addition to that, we have other things that we can do in these tabs. So when we invite them, they can look at our boards and workflows, and only thing we have to do is put in their email address and the invitation will be sent. So when we have a team and boards, we can add boards to our team. So if we wanted to change the visibility of the team, then we can do so by going to the team visibility under settings and change the visibility from here as well. If we change it to public, that is to say that it is visible to anybody with the link and will show up in search engines. Normally, you're going to want to keep it as private. So if you come back over here and want to change it or want to let a person look at it, then you can do so easily. So let's go back to our home page and go to the board that we just created. Now inside this board, if we click on this butler, what this is going to do is it's going to give you different automation tips. So essentially, once you create a workflow, which we are going to do in a few seconds, it's going to show different automation tips that will help you to speed up the workflow so you don't have to do as many things manually. So what you can do is you can just periodically check this butler to see if they give any good automation suggestions, things that could be used to automatically categorize and do similar tasks. So for example, once you do some activities on your board and come back here and keep checking it intermittently, you'll be able to see that it suggests automation tips that will make your life easy with respect to creating the board. And then when you go to this about the board, you see you can give a description to the board. You can say what this board is about. You can edit things over here. I will say that this board is about creating videos. So I'll say, and then if you wanted to change your background, you could do so using this button over here. You can choose a background that you like. And then you can search on your cards over here, and then you have stickers, and there are many more things that you could do. Another special thing is when you come down here, you can see the activity, what you have been doing on this board that you created. You can see what you have done, and if there are other members in this board whom you have invited, then you can see what tasks they have been doing, what changes they have been making on the board as well. So it's important to keep track of the history of the board. And then you have this small bell icon over here, which will give you notifications whenever somebody does something on the board. And at the same time, when you click on this profile icon, you can change your profile visibility and then edit your account details, etc. All right, that being said, let's now go back to our board and start creating workflows. As we discussed before, in a general Trello board, you have the to-do, in progress, and the completed workflows. That is how we usually keep track of the work that we have to do. So let's go ahead and name this list as video ideas, and then add another list, videos in progress, and then another, completed, and then I'll have thumbnail completed. So this is my workflow, and I will be capturing the entire process using these three lists, inside which I will have different cards. So when we come up with an idea for a video, we will be posting it over here in this list. And then when we are in the process of putting this idea into a video, we'll be moving it here. Once the video is complete, we will come to this list. And then when we want to create the thumbnail and maintain it, we will come to the last list that we have done over here. So now let's have a look at cards. So I'll go ahead and click on this card which I have added, which is about come up with an idea. And as you can see, there are loads of options inside this card. I can give the card a description to say what it is about. And then there's an activity, which again lists what. And then I also have the chance to add members to the card over here. And then there's something special which is called labels. So what I can do is I can give different labels to different cards. I can name these labels. There are color codes. At the same time, I can give them names as well. So it could come with maybe the priority level or any criteria which you define. And according to that, whichever the criterion that fits the particular card, can be allocated to that. So let's say that coming up with an idea is a high priority task, then let's say I select this and I can give the name. So the name is its high priority. Then I can save it. So that goes to the high priority category. Likewise, I can give a name to any of these cards. Let's say this is mid priority. If so, I can save that. Likewise, I can give a label to each of my cards. So now anyone in the team can see this card over here which says coming up with an idea, and they can see that it's a high priority task, which means everybody has to work on it and come up with an idea, otherwise there's no moving forward. So that is a way of representing, showing people which tasks have a higher level of priority more than the others. There are multiple other things that we can do here as well. So one thing is about adding checklists or adding attachments or giving a due date, etc. So let's come up with an example in which we can use all of these different things that we can do on a Trello board. So let's say that I was the one who came up with this video idea initially, which is right here, and then say there's another person who is responsible for creating videos. So he's the one who's going to take this idea from here and then take it to here where he will be proceeding with the generation of the video. So once he comes to this board and sees that, okay, there's an idea and it's high priority, what he would do is he will drag it and bring it up here to video in progress, where he will follow his own workflow in order to create the video. So once he comes into that card, there are multiple things which he can perform. The most helpful thing with Trello is the fact that you can always see what's going on in the middle of your workflow. So you can see what your team is working on right now. You can see how much progress they have made. So it makes the management process a lot easier. Everything is organized and you know exactly what is going on. So now, let's say we want to be a little bit more complicated with this video idea we want to execute. And by a certain time, I need to go ahead and complete it, which means there's a due date for this particular video. So in that case, I can go to my card and add a due date to this. So I can click here and then let's say that the video is due on 31st Sunday, and I can assign a time as well, and then I can save it. If I want to give myself a reminder, then I can add a reminder at any preferred time, and then I can save. So there's going to be a due date for this particular task. So if I go back to my card, I will be able to see that there's a due date over here, 31st of January. So right now it shows the clock, which means it is supposed to be done. Once I'm done with it, once I reach the due date and complete it, I will be able to tick it, which is to say that it's completed. Otherwise, I have to keep it like that to say that I'm still working with it. Then the other thing is I can add a checklist, which is to say that I can add different set of steps using which I need to achieve this task. So let's say I add a checklist and give it a title and then click add. Okay, now in this checklist I can add items, which is to say I can add steps. Step number 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm going to do in order to achieve the video creation process. So let's say I need to create a video, and then I need to edit the video, and thereafter I have to create a thumbnail, and then let's say finally I need to upload the video. Okay, so I have 4 steps. If I need more, I can do that as well. And if I wanted to assign these steps to somebody, I can do so over here. If I want to give a due date, I can do that as well. So now my card has different steps. So let's see how it looks like when I go back to my board. So as you can see, it says over here 0 out of 4, which means there are 4 steps out of which I have completed none, 0. So if I go into the card and say that I have done this, click on that and say I have completed, then it will be shown on the card saying 1 out of 4 steps are completed. There's an option to hide the completed items as well. If I want to do so, I can do that. And if I'm done with the second, I can do that. Still in this process, if I remember that I have forgotten to add a particular step, then I can do so using this. So the benefit of adding checklists like this is that the video creator can come into this card and he can see what he has already started in the video creation process, and where he is at the moment and what else he has to do to complete his task. So once the video creator finishes the first 2 tasks of creating the video and editing the video, he would check these 2 boxes and then he would drag it over to the video's completed section. Now we can see that 2 steps out of 4 have been completed, and let's say that someone else is responsible for creating thumbnails. So it's not the same person. So every time a video is in the completed videos list section, the person who's responsible for the thumbnail creation will be able to see that there is a video which needs his attention. So whenever there is a video in that list, you can have the thumbnail creator always checking this list, and he knows that whenever there is a video on this list, it's time to make a thumbnail. So he would come in and see the videos in this list, and then he will go ahead and create a thumbnail for that particular workflow. Once he does the thumbnail creation, once he finishes it, he will check that box, and then 3 steps out of 4 will be completed. Then he will drag it to this list where we say that thumbnail of this video is completed. Then at the very end, the owner or whoever is responsible for the entire workflow will come in and check to see what are the videos whose thumbnails have been completed, which is to say that the video ideas, video creation, editing, and everything is done. Once everything is done, those videos come to this list. So the person who's responsible for the workflow will come in and check this list, and thereafter he will be able to upload the video. So that person will go ahead and upload the video. Once that is done, he will check that box, and now all the 4 steps out of the steps in the workflow have been completed. So let's create another list for uploaded videos, and then once I'm done with all the 4 steps, which means the video has been created, edited, and then the thumbnail has been created, and then once I upload the video, I will check that box and then drag it to this particular list. Now the card is at the final list. Now let's say, for example, that this card was at the video completed section. Just for an example, if it was over here at the moment, and if you want, you can add different attachments to this. You can add an attachment. For example, you can add a file or a picture or anything to this card. So let's say I'm going to add an image. You can choose an image and attach it over here. You can attach different things to the card, and it will be helpful. So maybe you want to attach a document or something of that sort. And when it comes to automating a workflow and keeping everything in order, especially if you have a lot of moving parts and you are a team which comprises of multiple people, then adding attachments like this could be quite helpful. So once you do so, you can see something like this. So you can add something relevant to the video, some supportive documents, or an image which you might be interested in adding, etc. So if we wanted to, say for example, take the second card and give it a priority, well, let's say that I'm going to choose yellow and it's a low priority event. This is just for an example. So I can choose that, and okay, now this says that this is of low priority. And then I can give a label, list, due date, attachment, anything of that sort. And apart from that, there are several actions which I can perform as well. For example, I can move the card to another list easily from there, and then I can move the board to any other board which I have already created. So I can do that, and then I can copy it or make a template, or I can share it. In addition to that, I can archive it as well. So there are several operations or actions that I can perform on this card as well. So as you can see, I moved my card and now it's in video in progress. So now let's go ahead and look at a board which I have already created. Let's go to my home screen and let's choose this, which I have already created, about lesson planning, weekly teaching plans. So here, as you can see, I have 3 lists: beginning of the term, Then I have weekly lists. This is for week 1. And then I have end of the term. So I have beginning, and then I will have a set of lists for the weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. And then finally comes this, which is the end of the term. And as you can see, there are several cards in each list. If I go into this card, you can see that I have added a checklist. This is the setup Trello boards workflow, and there I have 6 steps which I need to complete. And each time I complete a step, I will check the box and then go to the next step. And then once I have checked the boxes which are allocated to that particular list, I will drag and move it to the next list over here. So that is how it's going to be like. And in case you did not notice, I'm shown automatically the percentage of work which I complete each time I tick a box. The percentage of work I complete is shown over here. In addition to that, you can see that I have given a label to this. So the labels which I have created this time are a bit different. There are priority wise labels. At the same time, there's another label which says overrides other tasks. So whenever I give this label, even though I might have other work to do at the same time, this particular task overrides the others. So I need to look into this one. In addition to that, I have added a checklist here as well. And then this has an attachment, and there are 2 labels. And there's a checklist as well. So this card contains multiple features: an attachment, labels, checklists. So these are the things which has to be done after class. And then at the end, I have the end of the term cards. So in this one over here, I have a due date given. Due date is this. In case if I want to change the due date, I can do it here by clicking on this drop down arrow. It's easy. And if I want to remove it, I can do that as well. So each time I finish a task in a particular list, it will be dragged to the next list. That is how this will be progressing. So the benefit of this Trello board is that anybody who are in this team, for example, since this is about lesson planning, if this is a university or a school, then all the members of this particular team can come in and check where we stand. They can see what's going on. You don't have to talk to other people. You can directly come here and look at what's going on. So we can get that overview, but at the same time, we can easily switch between lists. We can easily drag tasks between lists, and we can check each step of the way so that we don't miss out on a step. Since we have a checklist, we can keep track of which step we are at the moment, and we will not miss out on any. So just like that, Trello is really easy to use, and once you get to use it, it makes your life easy with all these features and functions it provides, and at the same time with all the automation and workflows. It's extremely helpful in increasing the productivity of your team and your business. At the same time, your team as well. It helps to manage your team, organize all the work. Even if you don't have team members and you just want to keep track of projects that you manage, track of your work, it helps you on behalf of organizing your studies, maybe your work life, etc. So this is about using Trello for managing your projects. In addition to that, once you go to the home screen, you can easily switch between your boards and teams as well. And at the same time, in case if you want to add a date, you can go to calendar, and here you can add a note saying what you want to do. For example, here I have added a note saying video creation, and then here on the 21st I have added today's plan. So likewise, you can click on a date and add a card to do a particular task. Let's say create the Trello video, and then you can give a time, and then you can add it to whichever the list you want, beginning or week one. I'll add it to week one. The position, which position do I want it to be? I'll say number 7, and I'll add it. Then once I go back to my board, I will be able to see that creating the Trello video is over here, and the card is due on the 27th of January, which means I have to do it by that day. Otherwise it becomes overdue. So Trello is quite helpful in managing your projects and your team, etc. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video.